So impressive. So good.
You go through it, through it.
Hello. Hi.
Oh!
Do you want one of the best builds of the season? Clearing well into 100s in the pit? Making T4 look like a joke? Dealing billions upon billions of damage? One-tapping Belial? One-tapping your wife? That's correct. This is the raging pulverize created by the one and only Zyor. We couldn't keep it contained no longer, and the ladies loves it. Let's cover everything there is to know about the best Druid build by far, and mind you, the most fun top Druid build we've had for over a year now. Meaning if you've skipped the Druid last couple of seasons, then it's the best time possible to head back and start chopping some wood yet again. So, why is Pulverize back for the first time in ages? Well, perhaps you noticed from the epic intro, and if not, it's largely due to the rotting Lightbringer. This item used to be absolute trash on the Season 9 PTR, but once fixed, it's now an absolute banger. The reason this is a banger is due to several reasons. Let me name a few. 1. The stats are perfect. Multiplicative willpower and chance to hit twice. Absolutely perfect. And a shit ton of poison damage and resource cost reduction. Yes, please. And you'll see why we want poison in a sec. 2. It guarantees overpowers. 3. It grants you extra AoE. 4. It sounds cool to say its name out loud. Rotting Lightbringer. 5. It synergizes nicely with the Rapid Bear aspect, having you deal additional poison damage, which we had a shit ton of on the weapon. So yeah, a pretty solid item now. And if that wasn't enough, the build got giga buffed this season as well. It had its base damage increased, they changed a few aspects, and more. Unfortunately, it's also the season that Overpower got nuked. But do you see it making a difference? Honestly, it was for the better. Alright, let's stop yapping about why you should play this build and see how it actually works, shall we? First out, the skills. Claw. What the fuck is this doing here? Easy peasy. We're using it to quickly stack up our quick shift, a damage bonus increasing your damage after you've shapeshifted. We'll then hop into Grizzly Rage after that and never look back. Speaking of Grizzly Rage, why are we using this? For Big Damn, of course, it increases your damage, but also you need it for the Rapid Bear aspect, which is also a must-have for the build. Finally, Pulverize, because, well, we need to deal damage somehow, and Debilitating Roar for a massive damage reduction bonus. When it comes to the gear, we have several versions here. A leveling version that you can use from level 1 to 60, an endgame version without mythics, and a mythic version focused on clearing all content with ease. Let's check out the latter, as that's what you'll be aiming for. Firstly, you want to prioritize the Heir of Perdition. This one's an absolute banger, especially if you can find one with core skills GA. Don't have it? Use Vasili's Prayer. For chest, the Shroud is a no-brainer. Don't have this either, you goddamn peasant? Fine, grab Insatiable Fury for some additional damage. Next, having the Shockwave aspect is not only lovely for damage, but also for a bunch of added AoE. This is also where we start finding some insane tempering possibilities. Slapping on Pulverize Size, we can clear out the entire map with just one hit. And better yet, added Grizzly Rage duration means we get more uptime on our fantastic ultimate and the Rapid Bear aspect, both mad important. Next up is the Tibolt's Will. Added damage? Yeah, why not? Next we have a new change, the Ursine Horror. This used to be an offensive aspect, but we can now use it as an utility, meaning we save one whole damage aspect. Great, huh? Yeah. Because we needed this to turn Pulverize into an Earth skill, allowing us to get a few additional must-have multipliers. And now we basically get it for free. That's nuts. and to the lightbringer we go. We already talked about this. It's why this build is now so fantastic in the endgame. Sure, it was decent before, but it always fell short in the higher pits. Not anymore, though. Focus on getting a 2 GA one if you can, master critting the hit twice to get it maxed out, and having the willpower percentage GA as well, preferably. For your amulet, you slap on the rapid bear as it's just fantastic, along with willpower, and then you start gathering up some passives. Envenom is the strongest, and quick shift is great as well. You also want to keep tempering on Grizzly Rage uptime tempers, as to keep it up permanently. Finally, we get the rampaging werebeast aspect, adding an additional 10 seconds to our Grizzly Rage and a goddamn 100% damage increase. Holy moly. Pretty strong, before finishing it all off with Starless for added damage and resource management. Don't have it? Jesus, you're really this broke, huh? Quit your job like the rest of us so you can do some proper grinding, or just grab the changeling aspect for now. It'll do. Good job, friends. You stuck it out this long. Let's check out some goodies before heading on to the skill tree. For runes, we go with Ahu and Cax, but mind you, this will delete your resources. So if you're experiencing issues and you go to comment on my video crying before watching that you're free to remove this, then you can go fuck yourself. Or well, you can all go fuck yourselves, but you can do it more if you start crying in the comments. Anyhow, for the other rune combo, we go with Igni and Gar to get ourselves crit chance capped, as we're stacking a lot of crit damage here. For the seasonal powers, we go with Disintegrate for permanent uptime, Corrosive Vapor as to turn our damage bonuses into poison, Bloody Charm for its execute, and finally Fractured Core for removing resistance auras and Sapping Crux for vulnerable. Finally, the jewels you're looking for are Idol from Below, Scornful Light, and Heradric Crest to maximize your damage and defense. For your mercenaries, Raher is the fucking man, granting both defense and damage, while the cannibal baddie is used for a slight increase in attack speed. Hey, will you look at that? Know what time it is? Correct. It's skill tree of fucking clock, and you know it, baby. We first have Claw, which we'll use to stack up our shape-shifting bonuses. After that, we want to maximize our pulverize damage, because big dam equals... Yeah, you know where this is going. Next, we go to pick up debilitating Roar, not only for the huge damage reduction, but it also grants a damage bonus as well. We then grab some damage bonuses in the companion skills, leave that shitty tree as fast as possible to grab a buttload of damage. This is also where you find Envenom, which is probably the best passive in the entire game, granting you 10% crit damage per rank. I'm surprised this haven't been nuked yet, and if you want some additional mobility, then you can always grab Trample here as well. We then head on over to the ultimate tree where we find a bunch of damage and defensive multipliers along with our lovely Grizzly Rage, which makes the build viable. And finally, our key passive. Ursine Strength is the strongest while pushing, as you'll overpower when you stand in your poison puddles. But for speed farming, you'd go with Bestial Rampage, as you'll rely less on standing still in your own pool of piss, and rather just run around and one-tap everything instead. With that, skill tree complete. Let's head straight for the Paragons, and then we're nearing completion. As per usual, if you're still a low-level newbie, then you go for the glyphs and legendary nodes first, and then you start stacking up the magic and rare nodes. And starting us off, we have Headhunter for its damage bonus. Grab all the willpower you can find here as well once you've got your glyphs and legendary nodes. After that, it's time for Earthen Devastation for a 60% damage increase as long as you've got some damage versus crowd controlled, which you'll get a lot of here from the Earth and Sky glyph, boosting nearby crowd controlled damage. You also have more down here if you're still lacking it due to low glyphs. Next, head on over to Survival Instincts for a large damage increase, and follow it up by slapping on the Keeper glyph for a substantial damage increase. Next, we go to Heightened Malice for damage versus poisoned enemies, and Spirit. which you'll fill up as much as possible when you've got a lot of Paragons, as it grants a disgusting 40% crit damage per point. And finally, Ancestral Guidance for the damage bonus, and Dominate for yet another insanely strong glyph with a crazy-ass 80% overpower damage per point. Probably the best glyph in the game if you're overpowering consistently. Well, damn. Paragon's complete as well. Still here? Drop a sub, will ya? And let's get and learn how to play this magnificent build. Now, each time you open up a new dungeon, you want to stack up your shape-shifting bonuses. You simply do this by casting Claw, Pulverize, and Claw 6 times in a row. After you've done that, you're ready to blast for a good minute or so of Grizzly Rage uptime. All you now need to do is press your Pulverize and debilitating Roar as frequently as possible, and you've got everything you need to succeed with the build. Great, huh? Any questions, make sure to drop them below and I'll ignore them. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.